Today, I'm going to be ranking every single heavy weapon in the finals as a heavy main with like 300 hours on heavy. I'll put it on screen. I don't remember off the top of my head because I'm not a nerd. Disclaimer, I'm not a pro player. I'm not a Ruby player. Give me a break. This tier list also isn't just going to be what is meta, because that's already been hashed like a million times by the top players right now. I'm going to be making a tier list for the average working American heavy. Kicking this tier list off, we have the Deagles. I'm going to put the Deagles in A tier. I like the Deagles. Not S tier though. I would not put them in S tier for the average person. If you're not already an aimer or coming from a different similar weapon on a different class, I think you might have a rough time. If you can't pace your shots correctly, you're probably going to be dying a lot, which for me puts the Deagles lower than S tier. Still a solid choice, and by no means is it a bad, I'm gonna say gun, but it's 2, but that's semantics. If you can hit your headshots, they're a great option. I would not say that this is a good pick if you're just getting into heavy. I think that the Deagles can be very unforgiving sometimes, and that's why I have to put it a little lower. Next up, we have the Minigun. I'm going to put the Minigun in B tier. The Minigun is pretty good if you can be mobile with it. This weapon is like a trap weapon for a decent chunk of new players, I feel, because, you know, it's this big, cool gun, but if you don't know how to use it properly and you can't be mobile with it, you're really going to shoot yourself in the foot with this, because you're just sacrificing so much mobility on the slowest class already. And if you can't track fast enough and you don't know the proper engagement distance, you're probably going to get messed up. I really like the Minigun. It's a fun gun, but if you can't get a team that will play around you and actually support you while you're using the Minigun, you're probably going to get screwed over.
If you're solo queuing ranked, do not use the Minigun at all, ever. It's such a bad pick for solo queue. You're going to get absolutely whomped because your team's not going to support you.
Use the Minigun at your own risk. Up next is the Lewis gun. I'm going to have to put the Lewis gun in B tier, or somewhere between A and B, B+. It's a good usable weapon. It's got good DPS, but this thing's recoil pattern is all over the place. The recoil is really hard to control, so unless you practice with it a lot, I would not recommend this as your first pick, because this gun kicks to the side a bunch of times in its recoil pattern, which is on screen now. Look at that. Look how ugly that is. But I love the Lewis gun. I think it's a fun gun. It gets the job done. Not a bad pick overall, but not the best. Up next, we have the KS. I'm going to put the KS in C tier. I know that some people really like the KS. It's got the whole destruction thing, like it can break through walls and everything. Used to be kind of cool because it was like a sniper-ish thing, but it can't hit headshots. The change that made it hit scan at close range, I think was good because it makes it easier and more consistent to hit close range shots, but it just gets outshined by most other weapons. The destruction's cool, but heavy also has enough avenues for destruction that I think the KS's niche is just a little too niche to be super viable. Up next, we're going to be talking about the Flamethrower. I think this thing is kind of dumb. I'm going to put it in C tier because it's not my least favorite. It's got like the damage over time thing going for it, and it can burn goo and burn gas. But that's kind of where its high points come to an end. It's not great in terms of DPS. You can pretty much 1v1 a Flamethrower with 90% of Heavy's kit. At worst, you trade with them. The good thing about it is that you don't really have to aim very well. You just kind of have to look in the general direction of the guy. Overall, I think it's not as usable as some of the other weapons on this list. Up next, we have the Titan. I'm going to put this thing in A tier. It's cool, it's new, but I don't think it's S tier worthy. It's got some shortcomings, especially after the nerf. Winch Titan headshot on light no longer works, but the Titan's still a good gun. The thing that kind of sucks about the Titan is that it's got a really long reload because you gotta load the whole thing individually, which kind of sucks. If you can aim, especially if you can hit headshots, this thing's a beast. But for the average newer player, I think it's kind of similar to the Minigun. It's like a cool looking thing. So wow, I get to use the revolver on heavy. A lot of people kind of rush in this gun without knowing what they're doing and end up missing a lot of shots. Up next, we have the spear. This thing sucks. I hate the spear with a burning passion. It's just not good. I'm sorry to all spear fans. I told you this list is going to be kind of inflammatory, but the majority is stacked against you on this one. It's not fun. The ult attack for it, the spin, it just locks you in this long animation. Every time I see a spear spinning near me, I just back up and I shoot them. They kind of fixed it in Heaven or Else with the, you know, the hold down, and if you tap it once, it does the spin once, and that's it. And you can hold it down to do it indefinitely. But that's not in the actual main game, which kind of sucks, because that would have fixed the spear, honestly. But they didn't. The spear still sucks. I'd rather use the next item on this list, the hammer. The hammer I will put in B tier. The hammer is very usable, but you really need to be able to maneuver well, and you're slow, so you can't play it like sword, light, where you're super mobile and you're just smacking the crap out of people with this sword. You have to play Sledge a little smarter. It's got the destruction thing, which is awesome, but it's just not the greatest, as is the case with most of the melee weapons in the game. It does a lot of damage at once, which is great, and you can instant kill lights with the ult attack, but you know, sometimes having to chase people down, unless you're running winch, and even then, if they dash out of the way, you're kind of screwed. Up next, we have everyone's golden boy, the Shack. I'm going to put Shack in the S tier. The Shack is great, with the caveat of the fact that it has a lower ammo cap. So if you don't pay attention to your mag, you're probably going to get caught out reloading. That being said, the reload's pretty quick, so it's not insanely detrimental if you have to reload mid-fight, but you can often be caught out reloading if you don't pay attention to your ammo count and reload at opportune times. The Shack has great close range damage. The damage starts to fall off a little bit at longer ranges because it has like the duplex round that splits off, which is kind of weird. So at longer range, the spread is kind of bad. Winch Shack is crazy. You winch a light, aim for the head, already in your face, and the Shack will drop them super quick. It's a really easy gun to use, super fast time to kill. I'd recommend it for new players if you can monitor your ammo. That's the big problem with this gun, is that you really need to pay attention to your ammo, because if you run out in the middle of a fight, it's not an LMG. You don't have another half a mag to waste. You've got 10 rounds before it conks out and you start reloading. But other than that, one of my personal favorites. Up next is the SA-12. Everyone's other favorite close range heavy weapon right now. I'm sorry to all the pro players out there. I'm going to put this in A tier. I'm not a big fan of the SA-12. Not because I'm part of the population that thinks that it shoots rubber bullets or that it does pea shooter damage, because you can get good damage out of it, but its entry skill level required is pretty high. It's not a very friendly gun for newer players. Don't necessarily listen to every pro loadout video that tells you like this is what the meta gun is, because it is meta at their skill level, but at your skill level, especially if you don't know how to use it, it could make you want to quit the game just because of how hard it is to get used to. It's still a good gun. It's still a great pick. I like the SA-12, but not that much. I'd recommend as a newer player, though, that you focus more on your fundamentals and your objective control and everything before you start focusing on what is considered the most meta gun at the moment, because I think that really kind of kills new players. Sometimes they find a pro player or a big creator that says, you know, this gun's the best. Newer players will pick that up as objective truth at all skill levels, when that's just not the case. You do have to use it to get used to it. Don't run it in ranked if you're not used to it. You'll rank down probably. Up next, we have the MGL. I'm sorry to all you diehard MGL fans, but this thing is stupid. It's not as bad as the spear. I get why people like it. You don't really have to aim that much with it most of the time. You can bounce it off of walls and everything. It's got the destruction. It's kind of chaotic, but it really clashes with my playstyle. I don't like the chaotic destruction. The bouncing grenades are kind of annoying, and it's just weird to get used to, and it doesn't do insanely great damage. As soon as you lose high ground, you're kind of screwed. This thing really relies on having high ground and being able to get weird shots off of people. The nades bounce, so you can't hit direct hits on people. people, which is kind of annoying. No hate to people who like it, but it's a very casual gun and won't get you very far in ranked typically. And now we save my favorite for last, the M60. I'm gonna put it in S tier. I might be biased because I run the M60 regularly. It's like the Lewis's cooler brother. It's got a very manageable recoil pattern. It's very slight. It's got great DPS, and it's got a huge mag size. So it's super forgiving for entry-level heavy. I think most people should start off in the M60. It's a great baseline gun. Very easy to play in solo queue because you don't have to wait for downtime of the minigun or the downtime of the shack, because this thing's got a pretty hefty mag and it's got good damage. So you can really use this in a lot of situations, especially when solo queuing. Great at a lot of different ranges. You can use it close range. It's not the greatest close range, but you can still use it well at close range. You can use it well at long range. Mid range, still great. As long as you can control the very manageable recoil pattern, this thing is a great gun. It's amazing. I think that most people should start off on the M60 when they play heavy. And that's going to conclude my tier list for every heavy weapon in Season 8 of the finals. Let me know which of these rankings infuriated you the most in the comments, because, you know, everyone loves yelling at me. Yeah, all right, bye. Ugh.